I found that just you put more scrutiny on the hiring. You look at the resume, the interview, and you should say no more than you say yes. And then once you get someone in, all right, let me let you do your thing, because I already interviewed you. I did all this stuff. Let me do your thing. I hired you, right? So I obviously think you have the skills. Otherwise, I did something seriously wrong to support you, right? And so I've learned from that. I'm on the upswing, and I don't want to stop. Actually, Bark, I was kind of, I've never actually done it because I always get pissed off, right? Because I'm working a job that's more professional, and then I try to work like at a pizza place or whatever. I'm like, fuck this, I don't want to work here, man. Why the fuck would I put up with this shit, right? And so I've never successfully had like side hustle, side jobs, but I've tried. And I remember what I would say, hey guys, I won't be able to play Madden as much, blah, blah, blah. And then Bark says, do whatever it takes to get that stack.
Yeah. Hey man, and like I said before, as weird as it was playing with somebody so young, he was really, older than his actual age. Like he was really smart, not just football wise, but he had a lot of stuff going for him, and he still does, man. His dream is to, coach in the NFL one day, right? So, I mean, I man, besides all that, I mean, there's definitely a lot more that I want to touch on when it comes to that, but I do have to pause and take the time out because it brings up the the most important point that I wanted to bring up today. Seeing how far Stretch has come, seeing how far you have come, man, like I am so fucking proud of both of you guys, right? Because I mean, obviously I knew, shit wasn't sunshine and rainbows and shit every day with you, but I had no idea until, we got super closer about all the struggles and shit that you were going through. And to see where you were at then and where you're at now, like, bro, like I I can't even I can't even put into words. All I could do is just stop and
Thank you.
for real. You and Bart, you and Stretch, like y'all have made it so fucking far. And I mean, it feels like I've known you guys forever, but
I
in
would say
such
the time, because let me tell you, I really don't keep friends for long, and it doesn't take much to set me up, as you know. So yeah, no, credit to you guys and your patience. I have friends. Yes, I put you guys through stuff, but I'm always grateful, and I'm very aware that yeah, I am a lot to deal with sometimes, and I'm always appreciative of the friendships that that last. And I think I don't respect a friendship that doesn't go through that, if that makes sense, right? Like, we have to go through those moments to create that bond. I mean, I don't see you guys ever not being in my life, for sure. We're already 6 years in. I mean, it's funny, too, because I've always, like, fancied myself as a loner or recluse or, just I don't hang out, right? And, yeah, I have friendships that last more than a decade, or we're approaching 2 decades with some. And so, it goes to show I'm really not that much of a loner. Maybe I just don't care for like in-person activity, maybe, but definitely
fun. I don't like people either. People suck.
that's why we get along.
Exactly. I always bring it back to the quote where people say like real recognize real. You know what I mean? Like real people recognize real people, bro. And that's exactly what it is. I do like to think of myself, especially in our situation, the glue that held everybody together, only because I cannot tell you how many times you and Stretch got into it over some dumb shit, and I was just like, yo, I had to pull you aside and be like, look, he's hella young.
Yeah.
He's going through some shit. And then I had to pull Stretch aside, like, yo, you can't be doing shit like this.
And,
You
and
know?
and that was before the job. That was before working at that clinic for, I think it was 2.5 years when it was all said and done. But yeah, you grow and you grow with each other. I think the biggest thing for any relationship, friendship, is just patience. You know, it takes a while for people to come along. I finally built a leadership team within our department. They were trying to get that before I was there, but I was that final part, the final year of what was eventually going to be like our final push to get that position. And I have to teach them too. The same thing you taught me, that, you know, hey, look, gotta understand where they're at, man. They just started. Maybe they don't know a lot about what we're doing. We got to teach them. And then when something goes on or we don't like what they say, we just, you know, we nod, we go okay. And then when it's time, you kind of address it at a later time. So yeah, no, that definitely taught me that, you know, you got to take in consideration where they are. A 13-year-old obviously is going to act like a 13-year-old.
Yeah.
I can't believe you got me to play Fortnite too.
Yo,
I
I
don't like that game. It's like the worst first person shooter I've ever played.
I just can't deal with the building and all the bullshit, bro. He dragged me into it a couple of times. He was like, "Bro, this is the only shooter game I can play." And I was just like, "Ah, fuck." And I fucking hated every second of it. But one thing that I did love was seeing both of you guys grow. You know what I mean? And the fact that I got to grow with you guys. I got to see that shit. And I got a very you know like good opportunity to see that. Like that's rare, bro. To see not just one person grow, but two people grow right in front of your eyes, bro. And it was just crazy to me, bro. That
And
you know
you're at both extremes too. Like you have someone who's an adolescent and you have someone who's going into his middle age.
yeah, man, it was crazy, and I mean, I don't want to take it. I don't want people to take this as like, oh, I was the mastermind or anything like that. Nah, like y'all taught me a lot too. You know, Stretch taught me a lot with patience. You know, Got to be patient with that dude. You know what I mean? What it is. You taught me a lot about persistence. No matter how much shit that never worked out, you I mean, obviously I know you were going through it and shit, after a while, but you never really gave up, and I was just like, damn, like I respect that. You feel me? And a lot of people that know me, in my hood or where I'm from and shit, like uh that they'll they're kind of weird about, like who certain people kick it with. And I've always been the opposite. I've always been like, I don't give a fuck if she's a nerd. I don't give a fuck how old or young that person is. Tell me if I see them doing something positive and giving back and working on their life and being a better fucking person, that's what life is, bro. Always growing, always doing some shit, and the fact that all three of us came to fuck together and you know at half the time dealing with all our fucking mental problems and everything that we were going through with life, and then the other half having fun and letting loose and just having that comfort zone, like it meant it meant the world to all three of us, and
And that's what I learned from that job that I did for 6 years. That was it. That's all I did. Because in my mind, I'm thinking if the harder I work, the closer I get to a house, or the harder I work, the closer I get to a Tesla. And I had to sell it, unfortunately, due to my father's passing. I have to make sure I have the money to support my mom. But I at that time, right, I had it reserved. I had the Tesla reserved. I had just broken up with somebody, my friend Tani. She went with me, and I'm very grateful for her, putting up with that, because there was nothing in it for her. She was just waiting for like hours with me, and so I appreciate her friendship for that moment as well. And so I had it reserved, and like my job's gone. I couldn't promote. I couldn't get the house right. And so I had to be an adult and just get rid of that reserve, because that car like was literally everything I would want in a car, right? I get it. There's some people who go, no, not for me, whatever. Fair enough. But like people who know me know that that's my car. That like it literally did everything I wanted. It's kind of like, I don't know, like being a tradesperson or something to that extent, where you get this tool and it just works the way you want it to. And it's such an amazing feeling where it just does exactly what you want it to do. I guess the other time was when I got the M1 MacBook Air, same thing. Like the computer just thought faster than I did. I'm like, holy shit, I've never had this happen before, right? And so anyway, the Tesla was going to be that. I wasn't aware if it was going to be this cool, but I had to give it up. And sure, it's not the end of the world, all that stuff, but man, people love to talk shit when you're down. Man, and
Oh yeah.
I didn't forget. I had people that, considered them friends, and, they're saying the worst shit to me. And I guess maybe to them, maybe it wasn't a big deal, because had they said that before, I allowed it. You know what I mean? So they're used to talking to me in that way. And because I was down, and usually when you're down, you don't want to go broad. At least if you want to keep friends, you're not going to go around broadcasting. Let's put it that way, because there are people who they have no friends, and they and again, if you have no friends, I'm not talking smack, but just start with maybe keep some of that stuff private, and then just use it when the time is right to kind of open up to people. So there's nothing wrong with sharing, just use it at the right time. But anyway, so I'm not going to share at all, because I'm in denial myself. I'm thinking, I'm going to go to AT&T. They're going to hire me, which, by the way, I've been applying to AT&T for over like 11 years now. Right now, it was just for fun. That time, I was desperate. I was like, I need someone to hire me, right? And they still say no. And like, I'll be in the interview, and the guy's like, oh, you'll hear from recruiting. Okay. Week later, thank you for trying. Man, what's wrong with this company? But anyway, it's almost like a joke now. Like, I just do it for the gag or whatever. It's like, okay, let's see what they say next time. And so anyway, so I have to get rid of this reserve. I'm hearing people talk shit, and then now I have to, like, I don't want to say humiliate myself, but I have to humble myself now, right? I have to sit down and be humble, and go into the. So for people who don't know, so I was playing with another squad when these guys weren't available. And so what this guy would always say when he would tackle somebody on the game, he would say, sit down, be humble. I just recently listened to Kendrick Lamar. I just recently knew that was a song. I've been saying it forever. And so anytime we tackle someone with authority, we're like, sit down, be humble, right? And so we go. So I had to take my humbling, right, and just accept the job that I felt was beneath my worth. But looking back, I'm grateful that I had the opportunity to take that job. Obviously, thank you, parents, for supporting me. Not everyone has that ability. But, I learned a lot from that job. It taught me a lot of skills, even though the pay wasn't great. But it's why I am where I am now. And so as they're building up my confidence with CBS, my job, my supervisor, because they're seeing I'm doing a great job. And in my opinion, I wasn't doing a better job. If anything, I've slowed down quite a bit as I've gotten older, and not the worst thing in the world, but they're so grateful. It's just, they're like, oh my God, I'm so glad you did this. And it's when you have people who are grateful for your presence, it's way different than when someone always wants to knock you down. And so I got into another slump with the job, but at least it was a job slump. Everybody goes through it. I said, you know what? Fuck it. I'll just apply for a supervisor job. Let's see what happens. And I had no idea I was going to get it. I've been listening to a lot of, law of attraction kind of stuff. Like, you got to create the situation for the things you want. And
Yeah.
so I was like, fuck it. I want a Tesla. Why don't I just get a Tesla, right? And I wasn't aware that we had a Tesla store here in Bakersfield. We had Solar City kind of places, but they converted them to Tesla stores. So I said, you know what? Fuck it. I hate my car. It's junky. I'm going to go, right? And by the way, if you're even a little bit curious about a Tesla, do not go test drive it. You will freaking buy it.
I want to hear that.
Yeah, you're gonna buy it. It just, I heard this from other people once I bought mine, but I was like, oh, that's true. Once you drive it, you're like, fuck, I need to buy this, right? So anyway,
When I went to go buy a car, I didn't even test drive it. I didn't even look into it. I was like, nope, I'm not gonna do it.
right, exactly. And so yeah, it's the saying's true. Like, if you go to a barber shop, you're gonna get a haircut eventually.
Exactly.
And so anyway, I drove this car. It was better than what I had imagined. And so this was like a coming of age situation for me that I lost the job. I lost the ability to get this house that I've been fighting for a while. I'm still fighting for it, but it's just situations happen. And so I drive the car. This guy's a complete asshole. He's exactly what you think a car dealer is, right? Which you would think Tesla would be known for that, but this guy was absolutely that. And so he doesn't flinch. He goes, it's only 700 a month, right? And I said, you know what? I really want this fucking car. You know what? Let's go. Let's go do it. And I signed. I was thinking in my head, they were going to deny me. I'm on a county wage. There's no way they would give me my friend drove me to Buena Park. Thank you, Kim. And I took the car back, and I still like months later, I'm like, I can't believe I own this fucking car. And here's what's funny. After like a couple weeks, the honeymoon goes away. Now it becomes real that you're gonna have to pay for this car. This car is like $700 a month for me, and I'm like, right. And I started hitting up the job that I eventually had now because it kind of went dark on me. And they said, "Oh yeah. Well, we're still ready to onboard you." The issue with them was because of COVID, they lost a lot of people in HR, so they weren't able to like move people through as quickly. And so not even before I even had the first payment for the car due, I already had this job. I was able to afford the car, and here I am in a like, position of authority. I'm driving the car of my dreams. Fortunately, my father passing away forced the issue to sell it. The way I looked at it, because people were shocked that I sold it after just a year. And I said, well, the issue is that, which hurts more, losing my dad or losing the car? My dad, because I can't get him back, right? And there'll be other cars, and don't worry, I have like 2 electric cars on reserve right now once they build them, so it's not the end of the world. But ideally, yeah, I want to get into a place financially where I'm not in debt. I want to get into a place financially where I bought the car cash, especially with the economy where it's going. It's not to say that, if you have a job, you're good, but what if I lose the job, right? What if I don't have the options again? What if I'm back to that dark place again, right? Am I ready? And that's really what it is I always hear the quotes, but I never believe it. But now when I hear it, I believe it. It's not that your situation ever gets better, right? I could sit here and cry my little eyes out about how it's unfair, the inflation, the housing, blah, 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 right? But I learned from one of my real estate gurus, he was a very smart guy. He said, life really has no limits. It's the limits we put in our head, right? Like I could
Yep.
fly, right? I could literally fly. Now, if I define flying as I have to sprout wings and then I have to fly, okay, we're in trouble. I ain't doing that, right? But if I define flying as okay, maybe I get a helicopter's license, a jet pilot's license, so on and so forth, then I can fly, right? It's your definition can't be too strict because if it is, then yeah, you're not going to achieve it. But the more open you are, like okay, I want to make this salary, right? Okay, then what jobs would require that? Okay, are you willing to go through that education, licensing, or work in an entry level position to get the experience? Because if the answer is no, then yeah, you're never going to get that salary. But it's the little steps and it's every day. And I really appreciate you saying that I'm very persistent because I like anybody else, man. I doubt myself. I wonder if I'm making the right decision. And half the time I'm working the opposite I feel, and that's a football adage. Like when your team sucks ass, like you got beat by double digits, right? They say you should coach the opposite you feel because right, the team knows they suck. They lost by a lot. You don't need to repeat that they suck. You just repeat, okay, well this is what you did do well. So let's build on that. Don't build on the misery, build on what you do well.
The first thing that I want to say to that is, you ever go down that dark path again, you are not that far, sir. I will drive down to Bakersfield and kick you in the ass myself. Uh, Second thing that I do want to say is, man, shouts out to you, bro. Like you said, what hurts more, losing the Tesla or losing your dad. Obviously, it's an obvious answer. The fact that you lost your dad, bro, like I know when you first told me, I gave my condolences and all the shit, but and the life that I lived growing up, losing so many people to like stupid shit. And I know that wasn't necessarily the case with you, but just losing people close to you, it fucks with you so fucking hard. And the fact that you dealt with it, you knew exactly what you had to do. You knew that there were steps to take. You knew that no matter how much it hurt, that you had a goal in mind, and that you knew what, not necessarily knew what to do, but you kept progressing instead of regressing. Um, Shouts out to you for that, bro, because I can't tell you how many times in my life that I lost somebody super fucking close to me that I completely, regressed. I went into a shell. I went into a bubble, bro, and I didn't even let it known to the people that were closest to me, you know. And you were, how you told me earlier, I ask everybody that comes on the show that, hey, what's off limits? And you were like, no, man, I'm an open book, and the fact that you were just so open about it, and you were like, look, this is what happened, and I'm not okay right now. But the fact that you weren't letting it hinder you from making the decisions and the choices that you had to make, like I can't do anything else but applaud you for that, bro. Um,
And I'll
it,
get into that. So, I think I had a death very early in my 20s. I think it was like 21, 22. Unfortunately, and I'll just say, so I have a lot of ties to the LGBTQ community myself. I grew up in an era look, I was, and for those who don't know, I'm also on the autism spectrum. So I was diagnosed when I was like 23, 24. So it was very late in my life, at least considering that most get diagnosed as children now. And I'm very happy to do that now. But, I wasn't like, hey, I'm going to go hang out with people. You know what I mean? I kind of was to myself, and I almost feel bad hearing those stories about those kids that they really don't have friends, right? Because I don't know why I got so lucky, right? Maybe I was just that funny or what, but I'll be hanging out by myself, and then they just, and maybe they regret it later, but they would come and hang out with me, and we would have. Yeah, oh, it's because I even then I had a pretty strange sense of humor, so and so, I'm going through life. I was very happy-go-lucky, very naive, very trusting, what you would typically say someone with this condition. And, I lose my brother to HIV/AIDS, right? And, without getting too much into because it's really dark, but, he went through a lot of abuse as a child, family members, all that whole shit, I'll let people fill in the blanks. And so to just see him die, you know what I mean? It was like, I guess it was almost like a death that I saw in a mirror, right? That, oh, if you don't handle your shit, you don't handle your trauma, that's you right there. And I think my whole family felt that way. And that's just me reading the tea leaves. They never said anything of such, but that's why that one hurt a lot, right? Because it's like, wow, all that trauma, it really can get you because he was not careful. And again, I don't put fault on anybody. Had he stuck with the meds, had he stuck with his health, he would still be here. And that's what a lot of doctors told me when I was in deep depression. Is like, he could have made it. He chose not to, right? And a little similarity with and he's my stepdad, not biological father, but I call him dad. And similar stuff going on there, right? So I had like 11 years to chew on that. The whole, what does it mean to lose your brother? What does it mean to have things said about him in a negative way? And you don't know if it's true because he's not here to defend himself. He's not here to
right,
say, yes, I did that, or no, I did not do that. So I went through the head fuck already. I already went through the head fuck. And so what I said is, okay, well, next time I'll be ready. And so I actually thought, because my mom doesn't have the best health right now, but she's kicking. She's too stubborn to die, I guess. But I thought I'm prepping my family that, hey, look, it looks like my mom has a pretty serious condition. We need to get our arrangements ready and console our mom, all this. And then next thing I know, my stepfather, he slipped like a disc or something in his back. And he knew what he had. He already knew. So sometimes we kind of play like conspiracy theorists, and we go, well, maybe he already knew, and he got the news, and he just didn't want to tell us because he was that kind of a person. And I think, like you said, you've had death in your family and loved ones and all that. It's not that like we feel too. At least for me, I'll speak for me. It's not that I feel too big to share. It's that I'm opening this wound, and I don't know if I'm ready to talk about this stuff as much as needed to satisfy the question, if that makes sense. And so, yeah, my stepdad slips a disc. I'm very blessed that I have this job that did allow me to, be there for him. And I try. He really didn't want to go to the fucking doctor. He really did not want to go to the doctor. And I did my duty as his son, and he always considered me a son despite being my stepdad. And I always considered him a father despite being my stepdad. And I said, look, I gotta take you to the doctor. It's probably not even that serious. Come on, like, just do it for me. Do it for me. Let's go. And so it was a whole thing every morning that I had to take him to the doctor. He wouldn't take his meds, and we previously had a pretty big argument about how we're splitting up the bills and all that stuff. And so, and it's not to throw shade at him. I just go, wow, that argument didn't mean shit, because when I went to go get him his meds, and I'm tired, man. I work 7 days a week as a operations supervisor, and um, I still found the energy to build his little walker. I went to Walmart as soon as I could. I had to order it online, of course, because I don't have time to go through the store. Put it in the back of my car, came here, set it up, make sure the thing wasn't gonna fall on him, and we were good. And he was so grateful, so fucking grateful for that. And then he cuts me a check for $600 as to show me his gratitude. And in my head, I'm like, we just argued over the bills months ago. And I just shredded it. I didn't even talk to him about it. I just thought, okay, we'll leave it alone. But he was monitoring his bank account to see when I was going to take that $600. And so my mom comes to me and she says, "Oh, you didn't cash that check?" I said, "No way! Like, we were arguing about bills, and then I'm going to take money for it? No, I'm not doing that." And so a couple days go by, and then now I talk to him. He's like, "Oh, I noticed you haven't cashed the check. I'm not going to cash." Oh, he was upset. He's like, "No, you got to take it," and blah, 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 blah. And I said, "Look, I don't do it for the money. I don't do it for the recognition. I do it out of love for you. I want you to be better." And I think he's never had anybody in his life that open about his determination with him, and I think he really appreciate that. The reason why I'm not like a blubbery mess, at least I was initially when I heard the news, but the reason I'm not a blubbery mess now is because, one, I went through that with my brother. Just not to be so grim, but the funerals are for the living. The funerals are not for the person that died. They're for you to say goodbye. And unfortunately, my dad did not believe in a ceremony, but it's fine. We found our own way to congratulate his life and all that. And, I promised him that I was going to do whatever it took to take care of him. I think we achieved that towards the end. I got him to the doctors when he needed to. I made it no fuss, no mess. I cleared my schedule for him, and I feel very fortunate that I was in a position to do so. And I told him, look, not that I needed to make this promise to him, but I told him, no, you have nothing to worry about. I got my mom. I'll make sure she's fine. So that's what went into that decision of the Tesla. Is like, look, if I'm going to buy a Tesla again, it's going to be cash, and I don't pay a fucking dime for a payment, so on and so forth. So I'm working on that plan now. But, yeah, I got to take care of him. I don't know how lucky I feel that I got to do that, because I couldn't do that for my brother. I was too young. I was doing my own bullshit. I'm thinking I hit the jackpot making prevailing wage at a solar project that, lasted 4 months for me. I mean, it's really minimum wage if you add it all up. But, yeah, no, I wasn't there for my brother, but I don't think I was in a place where I could be, if that makes sense. It's not like, oh, I couldn't because of work. I'm sure if I was in a better place in my life where I had a job that allowed me to do it, and I was mature enough to handle those responsibilities, I think I could have been there for him. But I just wasn't there in that place in my life. And with my dad, I was. And it's just, I like the comparison, like you said, seeing me grow. I mean, in those two different deaths of my family, I saw myself grow. I go, oh, I can tell my supervisor, hey, look, I'm gonna be out for a little bit. All right, yeah. And I'm a salary employee, so we work something out, right? So, yeah, I feel very lucky that I was there for him, and I told him I loved him, and that's not really my thing. And I told him I loved him before he went, and he says I love you too. While he was still, aware of what everything was, he of course you lose it towards the end, but as did my brother. But yeah, I miss him. I do have my drives where I cry and I go, man, I wish you were still here. But he was 83. I kind of calmed down the hysterical emotions because, well, how long did I think he was going to go? I mean, another 10 years? He didn't see the point in doing chemo and all this stuff and that's really what it was when he broke his back, basically. There was a fracture and they were going to let it heal. What caused the fracture was the cancer spreading to his entire body. And so he had prostate cancer at my age, and so he beat it, but he had gnarly side effects from it. And so he never wanted to go through that again. He said, if I get it again, I'm good. When he met my mom, he said, oh, I might get it back again. It may come back. And so we went a good, I want to say, 13 years before I came back. So we got to spend 13 years with this guy. And man, he was such a huge part of my life. I'm so grateful for him. I've never seen a more caring person in my life. Anyone who met him, they just knew he was a very caring person. He really didn't want to inconvenience anybody to a fault. I mean, and that's why I kind of got rid of the car is because there's stuff around the house that needs to get repaired because that was not his thing. That was not his wheelhouse. And so the AC went out. Oh my God, I got a speeding ticket trying to find the damn part, and I'm gonna fight that. But yeah, it was just stuff like that. Yeah, I'm gonna fight that shit. What the fuck, man? Like the CHP is just chilling right there, and what the fuck, man? I'm not playing bumper cars. I'm not doing weird maneuvers. I'm just going straight. And yeah, my throttle body is a little off. Okay, I'll go to court and tell the judge, and hopefully I can earn his sympathy and get that ticket to go away. But yeah, I think I'm saying goodbye not just to my father, but just how I've lived life for a long, long time. Because if you asked me when he was still here, if I'm still staying here because of him, I would say no, no way. The opportunity wasn't there. But now that he's gone, I'm like, oh, okay, here's my chance to really do my thing, because I love my mom, but trust me, she needs her alone time. So I was really here for my dad, and I'm very helpful, grateful that I could. I'm very, I don't know if people are big into God. I'm kind of like loosely based on that, and because I was raised Catholic, but I don't really practice. And God stopped me for a reason. I didn't get those houses, those cars, all that because I was still needed here. And I can see that clearly now. Younger, I just felt like, man, life is really just sucky, and why does everything not go my way? But the thing is with every opportunity, you get to show your worth, and you get to see either learn from it or you get to excel from it.
Yeah, man, I couldn't have said it better myself. It took a long time for me to realize, a lot of the bad shit that happens in life, it's meant to be because you weren't meant for that path. There's a better or a different path that you're supposed to be going down. And um I've had one of those, you know, real breakthrough moments recently to where that happened to a friend of mine, and I had to tell him the same thing. Like, look, like it wasn't meant to be. You feel me? Regardless of what you know, whoever you pray to or what you believe in, it just wasn't meant to be. But just because that's not meant to be doesn't mean that there's not something better out there for you. You just weren't meant to go down that path. Um, and I do want to say it fucking sucks because um with the story that you just told, it makes me think about a lot of the people that I've lost, and it's kind of fucking weird. And I don't want to say easy because I don't think that really describes it, but I mean, for lack of a better term, I guess I will say easy. Like it gets easier the more people that you lose, only because like you've dealt with that pain, and you know what it feels like, and you know, like, how to deal with it in a sense that, all right, so what would they want? Like, my feelings don't matter, if and the same thing goes for if something happened to me or something happened to you. What would you want your loved ones to do? Would you want them to sit there and cry? I mean, yeah, I want you to be emotional, a little bit, but I want you to move forward. I want you to keep going. I want you to, I want you to do this. I want you to do that. You feel me? I want you to realize your dreams and keep moving. And it all
And
ties into together.
and to your point, that it's that it gets easier, but it sounds weird saying it, right? As someone who suffered with severe depression, it's not like you want to feel depressed. It's not like you want to feel sad, but it's like it's familiar. You know what this feels like. It's almost like you're nostalgic for the bad feeling or something like that, right? So like when the bad feelings came in regards to my dad, it was a familiar feeling because I've already experienced those feelings with my brother. Like I'm angry he didn't really do great maintenance. I'm very angry he didn't handle his finances and all that. But then I kind of, I let myself feel it. Okay, I let myself go through it, and that was the mistake I did with my brother. I tried to bottle in, try to make it seem like I'm okay, and I learned that lesson because I paid for that. I went through some addiction situations with alcohol, and it was pretty bad. And so I didn't want to go down that road again. I've already been there. And so with my dad, I just said, look, you're going to feel it. You need to let yourself feel it. You're going to cry. You're going to cry harder than you ever have in your life. And that's okay. It's okay. You got to give yourself that time. But I got to still keep moving both legs towards where I'm trying to go. And, I'm very grateful that I'm here. I'm able to be here for my mom as well, handle the finances, take her to because she speaks predominantly Spanish. And so for those who are unaware, it's an adage within the Hispanic community that if you have Spanish services or a translator, etc., it's second tier service. It's never up to the same level because usually I would put myself in that same category, is it's usually somebody who learned the language through their family but never like sat down and like they learned the language, like they know how to write and all that. Now I made it a point in my life to at least get better at it. It's kind of like third grade level. I mean, I'm not going to be writing essays or whatever, but I can do Spanish pretty well. And so, and then, I'm becoming the professional that my mom always wanted me to be. And so, going into these places and knowing how it works, I literally yelled at one of the ladies because I was like, "Hey, this is my mom. Like, this is not for me. It's for my mom. Like what the fuck, right?" And I always try to withhold the fuck there. I don't know why, but yeah, it's just the feeling's familiar, and so that's why you're able to get through it because you go, "I felt this before. I can move with this feeling." Whereas the first time you ever feel it, it's like, "Oh, what is this? I don't even know what this is," right? But yeah, I knew that I could. There's always time to cry later. That's what I felt like is I could cry later about it. It could be 3 years from now. I'm somewhere public, and I need to go somewhere private because it's hitting me right now. The memory of my father is hitting me right now, and so I gotta let myself have that cry, and then back to business, back to doing what I need to do because. Those funerals are for the living. They're for the people who loved them and really respected their impact in life. And I was thinking about this afternoon. I was like, man, if I only could be so lucky that if when it's my time to go, that people felt the same way they did about my dad, because it was universal. I shouldn't be shocked, but everybody said the same thing. People from different walks of life, even my neighbors, when I'm telling them in our little Facebook groups that, oh, hey, I'm selling all this stuff because my dad's gone. Oh, sorry for your loss. Whatever we could do to help you. It's like I'm going to the doctor's office and, they're asking, how is he doing? Because he had been going to that doctor's office forever. And, just I've never seen that. I've never seen someone so beloved by so many people that, oh, is he okay? Like I wish I had good news to tell him, but I didn't. But they really had concern for him. And, I'm just going to go down loving that man forever because he did a lot of good stuff in my life. Having somebody who just unconditionally loves you like how he did to me, yeah, it's just you can't you can't replicate that. And when it's gone, it's sad, but man, his absence in a way shows me how much he loved me because I know that it's gone now. So I have to use the memories to remember how that felt.
And man, they always say you never realize what you got until it's gone, and that's one of the fucking hardest feelings that you ever feel. But the fact that you've been such a trooper throughout this whole fucking thing, man, and you know that you got to keep pushing like the soldier you are, man. I mean, hats off to you. You know, shouts out to you.
And
Uh,
and I can't wait till you post this because I'm gonna share this amongst my friends. This is shit I've never talked to them. I've known them for over a decade. I've never talked to them about this stuff. This is not me. I just kind of go and I go, and not the healthiest thing to do, but again, the persistence, the desire to achieve. But yeah, no, I appreciate you having me on. I don't really get too many opportunities to share this. And, if anyone's hurting right now or going through the hospice part of, one of their loved ones, I hope this helps them understand that, no, it's okay to feel that way because you're losing someone very important. You're losing someone that was so important to you. It's okay to feel like, man, your world is breaking. But understand once it's broken, once the world finally collapses, we got to build a new one again.
gotta pick up the pieces, and you gotta keep on moving. I mean, what else? What else are you gonna do? You can't give up. I mean, that's not what they would want. That's not what you would want for yourself. And that's the whole reason for this channel. Um, I've been hit up by a lot of people that I don't even really talk to on a daily basis that have told me like, hey, like, when's the next episode? When's the next video coming out? And it like how you were talking about, like, how you don't really put yourself out there like that, or you're not really looking for recognition or anything like that. And that's what I said on this channel from day one. Like, this isn't about getting views or trying to go viral or whatever it is. I mean, obviously people could tell I'm not like putting hella money into this shit, trying to make it a business. Where I got, like, the cameras, and I'm not trying. It has nothing to do with that. I want people to come on here, tell their stories. You know, tell the world how they're feeling. And I want people to watch this, and even if it's just one person that could take one little bit or even the whole story of somebody else's story and feel better about themselves or have a better day. That is the goal of this. And the fact that I've been hit up, like, obviously, people that are very close to me, you, Stretch, have both hit me up saying, like, hey, man, like, I appreciate everything that you're doing on that. But it's the people that I don't even normally talk to like that. There's some people that I have sent the podcast to that I haven't spoken to in years, and they've hit me back and were just like, hey, like, that got me through the day. And I appreciate you for that. And that's what this is about. I don't care about views. I don't care about likes. I don't care about none of that. All the subscribers or anything like that. If I can help one person get through their day, and I apologize to everybody listening to this that I haven't been so active. The world gets crazy.
Yeah.
But on top of that, like, it's just like Gail was saying, like, I, it's hard for people to just be open and to talk about stuff that they don't normally talk about. And real shit, Dale, I wanna salute you, bro. The fact that you don't open yourself up like that, and you come on here knowing that this is gonna be posted and anybody could fucking see it, and that you're gonna send it to people that you know and that you care about. The fact that you had, for lack of better words, that you had the balls to come on here and do that. It shows a lot about your character, bro. Like, everything that you've been through, everything that you're gonna go through, everything that all the steps that you have taken to get to where you are, and the steps that you plan on making. Man, like I said, nothing but salutes, bro. Because there's a lot of people out there that may be going through situations like yourself, or, maybe dealing with something similar, or hey, it may not even be similar. They could just take solace into the words that you're spitting right now. You feel me? Like everybody wants to, give all the props and all the praises to all the celebrities or rappers or R&B artists that, you know, that spit the truth. But this is real life shit coming from a real life person, from somebody that I know you're technically older than me, but from somebody that I've seen grow, and that's what this world is about, bro. Growing as a person, growing as a man, growing as a woman, whatever it is that you're achieving to do, or that you're focused on, the world is yours. And people need to understand that shit, regardless of what you're going through, regardless of what you've been through. Whatever you can set your mind to, you got this shit. I mean, look at Dale right here, bro. Like he's been through hell and back, and I know plenty people that have been through similar situations, and people that have been through, anything that you could think of. And the toughest people are the ones that keep pursuing their dreams, keep, pushing forward, because, like I said in the previous video, what's the alternative? Giving up? Nah, bro. We don't do that here. Yeah, we speak the truth, but we ain't into giving up. We ain't into that shit. I've known people that gave up, and I don't think anybody wants that route.
No,
But
I kind of like try to create this image of where I am in my life. And sometimes it's a hell in a cell match, right? And I'm looking at this thing called life in there, and I'm going, no, motherfucker, I'm not trapped in here with you. You're trapped in here with me.
that part right there, exactly. That's how you gotta look at shit. When shit gets fucking down, and all fucking everything goes out the window, and you're sitting there like, fuck, that's it right there. All your problems, all that shit, you ball that shit up, and you tell that motherfucker, nah, bro, nah, you ain't got me, I got you. And then
I'm
I
hearing the
told
fucking bell.
exactly, exactly. We ain't ending until that fat lady singing, bro. We ain't doing it because that's not us. We don't give up. That ain't us. But man, real shit. We gotta do this again
Oh,
for
yeah.
real. Oh, I know you're pressed for time. We've already been on here for what, an hour and a half.
Well, I'm more
I don't
concerned
want.
for the audience that they would have to sit down for longer than this. But no, I appreciate it. I'd be happy to do a couple more. We'll have to, like, convince Burke's dad to bring him on here. Because
Hey, I'm
that
gonna get on
that'd be
that
wild.
though.
The three of us, that would be wild. That would be money right there.
And that's what I'm hoping on, man. Fucking Stretch, he be coming out of fucking left field with some bullshit, you know. But man, I want to thank you, bro, from the bottom of my heart, not just for being here, bro, not just for telling your story, which is enough, bro. Like for real, like the fact that you had the heart to come on here and tell your story and everything that you've been through. But for real, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being one of my best friends. Real shit. And I don't say that shit lightly. Um, as much as you like to say that me and Stretch got you through a dark time, bro, like I want everybody to know now. Like I said earlier, you know, I'm not the mastermind behind this whole shit, dude. You helped me out so much too. So I want to thank you, bro, for everything, bro, for being on here, for, having that fucking, I don't know, random matchup, bro, years ago. I don't know. We could thank the Xbox gods, Team Xbox, by the way. We both got PlayStation 5s now. But, nah, man, real shit, all jokes aside, I want to thank you for everything, bro. Like, you've been amazing. You've been an amazing friend. You've been amazing on the podcast. And yeah, man, I'd love to have you back anytime you want to.
Yeah, absolutely. And hey, let's grow this channel a little bit so we can help more people. Maybe we can add a live component where we're answering questions. For those who don't know, and again, I'm not licensed, so let's keep that in mind. But I worked in behavioral health for 5 years. I kind of fell into it. Not to say I would give anyone a diagnosis or treatment, but maybe I can, help out with at least hearing people out with their issues, and I can at least do that much. I was good for that, but no, I'm happy to know you. I'm happy to know Bark, and I'm very excited to be able to share this. It's just one of the rare opportunities I have to share what has gone on with me. Typically, when you get this out of me, we're at some bar or party somewhere. Everybody's already drunk off their ass, and it's just you and me, and we're just sitting there waiting for the sun to rise, and we would have this conversation. And so, thankfully, this is recorded. You don't have to go through all that. Now you get to see that side of me.
Man, that's what this channel's about, bro. And the whole licensing thing, that's where my co-host comes in, man. Jaleesa, aka Jelly, she gonna be on the channel very soon. She's an actual licensed therapist in the mental health field. And so I've been working on the whole live thing, but you have to, jump through hoops with YouTube and all the stuff. So but we're gonna make that happen. And again, man, thank you for coming on. I want to thank everybody listening and watching for this long. I know it's not a simple task to listen to, see people talk for an hour and a half, but I want to thank everybody for listening and tuning in to the Speaking Truthfully podcast. But that's exactly what we do. We speak the truth. Before I sign off, I want to say one thing, only because I got one of the members of CBS here, and I know what he's going to say. Hootie hoo!
That's what I do!
There we go. I'll take y'all later.
All right, bye.